using for the event. We're kind of limited on the number of things that we can say to you. So basically, we use flags for all of our communication. So what I'd like to do is start with the basic start sequence. I'm sure you've all read your sailing instructions. You've all read Rule 26 in the rule book. You will know that it's basically a 5-minute start sequence. So what we start with, for Gold Fleet, the warning signal for Gold Fleet is the numeral pennant 1. That will go up 5 minutes before the start with a gun.
Or for Silver Fleet, it will be the numeral pennant 3.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Yeah, we'll do it sequentially. Okay, so for Gold Fleet, 5 minutes before the start with a gun, numeral pennant 1. 4 minutes before the start with a gun will be P flag. And again, we do this a lot more professionally on the water. We have like sticks that we use to raise these things. At 1 minute before the start, the prep flag comes down.
With a long sound.
Probably a horn. If we run out of horns, it may be a gun, but normally it's a horn with a long sound. And then at the start, numeral pennant 1 comes down. That's your start.
Is there a chance you could use a different flag than P?
Yes, we'll come to that.
Okay.
So at the start, if anybody is over the line early on OCS, the X flag goes up, and it's held up for up to 4 minutes until all of the individuals have returned across the line and started again.
The individual recall goes up if one or more boat is on port side, which is on the wrong side of the start, weather side of the start line, at the start. If we have displayed a prep flag, if you are OCS, there's nothing to stop you from just turning around, completely crossing the start line, and restarting. Pick up a shattered piece of your lives and carry on. The individual recall flag, if there's only 1 or 2 boats that were OCS, the individual recall flag will come down when the last of the boats that were OCS have started properly. If all of the boats that were OCS have not returned and started properly, it will be up for 4 minutes, and then it'll be taken down. At some regattas, the race committee will dip the individual flag when one boat that was OCS returns and bring it back up. We don't do that. It's not what the rules say. So the flag will be up. If you think that you're OCS, it's smart for you to come back. I mean, if you think it's close enough, might as well come back. Cost you a minute, a couple of minutes. If you're scored OCS, that's not good. So if you think you're over early, come back and restart properly. In the event that the race committee cannot identify all of the boats that are OCS, we will display a first substitute flag, which is called a general recall. That will go up with 2 guns. General recall means everybody come back, we're going to try this again. That we will take that down as quickly as we can. As soon as we know that all the boats are coming back to restart, that will come down with the gun, and 1 minute after that, we'll go back into sequence again. So, with the individual, yeah, sorry guys. So, if there's a general recall, that will be displayed. It'll come down with the gun. 1 minute later, go back in warning, and then prep down, away we go again. If you guys, I'm sure you guys are all really, really well behaved on the race course. But if we're having trouble getting starts off because just start after start, everybody's on the course side, we will start to impose some penalties on you. And the first penalty is code flag I. which will replace the P. So if you class flag up at 5 minutes, and then I flag up at 4 minutes. What that means is if you are above the start line, or the extension of the start lines on either side, in the last minute before the start, you have to go around the ends, either end of the start line, and start. It would be a lot easier if I had a diagram to show you this, but if that's your start line, under a prep flag, if you happen to be OCS, you just come down and restart. Under the I flag, if you're OCS, you have to go around one end of the start line and restart. Doesn't matter what end it is, but you have to go around one end or the other. If you're really, really badly behaved, and the race committee is starting to get into a bit of a snit, instead of using the prep flag, we'll use a black flag. And the visual is a black flag. If we are displaying the black flag, that means instead of the prep flag, so that's at 4 minutes, the black flag comes up, 1 minute, the black flag comes down. In the last minute before the start, if you are anywhere in the triangle between the signal boat and the start pin and the weather mark, you are disqualified from that race. Under a black flag, don't go there. It's really bad. It's the only time that the race committee can actually disqualify a boat from a race. And we don't like to do it, so please don't do that. Any questions about the start sequence?